Get Her Cycling, Riding Together, a podcast about how riding a bike can transform more than just your fitness. It can build confidence, connection, and a stronger sense of self. I'm Charlene. This series is a space for women to explore how cycling can support mental health, social connection, and a community leadership. Even if you've never ridden before or haven't been on a bike in decades. Each episode will share stories, skills, and simple ideas to help you ride more often, ride safely, and ride with others. No pressure, no judgment, just encouragement to start where you are. And when you're ready to ride in real life, we'd love you to join us at Advantageous, where we run inclusive cycling programs, group rides, and workshops for women just like you. So grab your headphones and let's ride together. Welcome to our first episode of To Get Her Cycling. And this all started from a personal journey of being convinced that at age 40, I was too old to ride a bike. While I was out there getting used to the pedals and steering my way through the environments, along my journey, I have been inspired by other women getting onto a bike and wanting to learn for the first time or share a similar story to myself where they wanted to get back onto the bike. So we have actually created a lovely group, and it's probably where I want to start the conversation for today, the topic being start where you are. By getting on the bike and sharing that experience of breaking through the fear of being too old to get back on the bike, I've heard that comment so often from women that they thought that they were too old or they couldn't do it. And it's not just their own personal experience that brings out those fears, but it's also the people around them. I've had women who have said to me, it's not just my age, it's my children. They're saying I'm too old to get on the bike. And I think what empowers me even more is when I hear comments like that, it's like, why can't you get on the bike? If you are willing and you've got the physical ability to do that, let's give it a go. Let's start at the very beginning. And I guess that's where we want to take this podcast series, is empowering more women to think about giving it a go. Starting where you are is for anyone who feels cycling might be too hard, too late, or too scary. So we want to talk a little bit about some of those common fears that women have shared with us. And I mentioned earlier about what the rest of the family might think, especially if you've got adult children. The concerns there are about what if you hurt yourself? There's also this fear of the rider who's learning is if I fall and hurt myself. So I guess one of the common conversations we have is around, yes, there's a possibility that you will fall, but we're going to teach you skills that are going to keep you safe. Getting on and off the bike. So we go through step-by-step actions on how to get on and off the bike, and break it down to keep it nice and simple for you so that you're not rushing into something and creating those hazards. It's also building those defensive riding skills that you build the confidence that you can actually control and maneuver the bike. And we quite often say slow skills are the hardest to learn, but they're the ones that are going to keep you the safest. So we give our riders a challenge that how slow can you go? There's new regulations that are coming out where we have to ride slowly through pedestrian heavy environments. So to be able to master those skills as you're beginning or getting back on the bike, you're actually one step ahead of everyone else. Some of the common fears that we hear from the women when they come to us to learn to ride a bike, the most popular one, because it's a lot of women that are coming later in life, very similar to my personal journey. It's about how to get on and off the bike, how to actually ride the bike. And I think some women find it a bit overwhelming that the bike goes a little bit too fast, and we certainly see that in some of the skills that we present, where the body wants to go faster than what the mind is willing to go. So we have conversations, we break our sessions down to what that confidence level is for our riders. Some of the other fears is about, once they get riding, is who do they ride with? Where do they ride? And we like to say that we ride as fast as the slowest rider. So we're not in a rush on our social rides. I've been out today in a beautiful weather, riding with some ladies that hadn't been on a bike for a while, and it was at their pace. We want them to enjoy it, and we want to encourage them to keep riding. The other part is they're coming to us to discover where they can ride. And most of our rides will be on shared paths. So there's a little bit of education there, teaching people trip planning, where they can ride safely, and how they can connect the shared paths in their local area as well. And I think the last fear that I'm hearing of late, because a lot of us who are, I guess, more active in our aging years, is adult children are fearful of their loved ones falling and hurting themselves. And I guess the biggest impact there is that it takes longer to recover from an injury as we get older. So we have to reassure not just the rider, but the people around them that those slow skills that we teach, yes, they're the hardest, but they are going to be the ones that keep you the safest. We're not in a rush to get anywhere. We want to enjoy where we're riding, be in that moment. By overcoming these fears, we encourage people to practice in their space, finding an open, flat area that they can actually practice the skills that we give them, getting on and off the bike, learning how to control the bike, so being able to stop and start, as well as turning and cornering skills. And these are our base foundations of defensive riding skills. The last one we would bring in there is one-handed riding. So by starting off with these basic skills, again, we're building the confidence that you're going to get out and ride more often with more friends. I guess also what I've learned over the years of riding with women is there's different cultural stories that come here as well. So it's not just about a fear of learning and the fear of riding and where to ride. There's also some barriers to overcome. When we first started as a cycling instructor, we were told that you must wear enclosed shoes, you must wear clothing that's light, bright and tight. But when it comes to culture, they are barriers that are stopping women from actually getting on a bike. And the more I'm teaching people, the more I'm reflecting on normalizing bike riding. It's how we move. It's how we get around. It builds independence. Ways that the women have overcome the barriers of their cultural clothing is tucking the clothing under their bottom and sitting on the clothing so that it's not dangling down into the wheels. Some of them have come up with creative ideas, and they've used a hair scrunchie to scrunch up their dresses and their skirts and wrapped it around as a little loop to the side. So there's ways to get on the bike. I mean, women have been riding bikes for many years now, but it's sharing stories and having those conversations, I guess, in that safe space. They come up with their own solutions. They don't have to have specific riding clothing to go out and enjoy riding a bike. When we're working with the women to get them started with riding, we love to have that conversation of where they're at, what cycling means for them or riding a bike means for them. and working with their skill level. The conversations are really important to get an understanding of what their experience has been and how we might build their confidence to get them riding. So, some people pick it up within a couple of hours, feet on the pedals, and they're ready to ride. Other women will come back week after week after week and put so much energy into learning that skill and mastering that skill, which is part of the coach's inspiration to keep on trying to break the skills down until it's to a point that it's at their confidence level, and just a little bit encouraging them to put a little bit more effort into the pedal or to sit upright or look where they're going. So it's our job to build up that self-esteem and confidence, that self-belief that I can do this, so that they can master those skills. And I tell you what, when someone learns to ride, I'm known to do a bit of a little dance on the spot. And yes, I'm known for screaming in excitement that, yes, you've done it, well done. I'd like to reflect on a real world experience with teaching someone just recently how to ride. And it's not a standalone fear. This person thought that they were too old to learn to ride a bike for the very first time. So this isn't someone who learned as a child. This is someone that never was given the opportunity to try bike riding in their younger years. And while many people that I talk about think that that is a rite of passage, what do you mean that they're in their 30s and don't know how to ride? It's becoming more common as I teach more people. This lady came to us and the first session was all about just sitting on the bike. That was it. Getting on and off the bike, feeling comfortable with where they are at, sitting there in that moment. And as they started to feel comfortable, we were able to then bring in more skill sets. So as you're getting on a bike, we encourage people to put the brakes on. Gives you a nice firm foundation. The bike's not going to move anywhere. And I quite often have to say that that's probably the hardest part of learning to ride, is just getting on the bike and sitting there. And I love the conversations that we have, and it helps me actually design the program as well for them. And each week they come back and we celebrate every small little moment, because that's going to build the confidence that, yes, you can do this at any stage that you're at. So this person took about 6 weeks of a program of building up what we say, learn to ride skills, balancing and controlling the bike. And here we are a couple of months later, and they are now riding with a small social group. And they actually said to me the other day, have you got a map? I've just realised how hilly my area is and I have to find new ways of getting to the shops. And we quite often talk about and reflect on the journey that she's been on this year in particular, of trying something new, and then the independence of finding a bike that suits her needs, to now wanting to explore more of her area. So you can start anywhere that you're at, whether you haven't learned or you're wanting to get on the bike after years of time out. And that's the end of our first episode. Looking forward to taking you along this journey. There'll be a mixture of solo episodes as well as some guest interviews. If you have a story to share or you need some support with your riding experience, please reach out to us through our website, Advantageous. And all the links will be in the description of this episode. Until then, happy riding.